But let's speak about the new listing on the block. The 900 crore rupee L&T Technology Services IPO has opened today. This is L&T's pure play engineering research and development arm. My colleague Shilpa Ranipeta spoke with L&T Group's chairman A.M. Naik and Kumar Prabhas, the president of L&T Tech Services, and began by asking Mr. Naik to explain the company's positioning. Listen in.
Pure play engineering companies are hardly 2 or 3. I'm talking standalone company. There is an engineering piece in all the IT companies or many IT companies, but that is small, 10% and so on. So they get carried away as IT company. We didn't want that to happen. L&T brand is #1 brand, or let's say in the top 3 brand of India in engineering. World over also we have many connections. I would say easily more than 100 connections for different business, because we do 82 to 83 different domain businesses. So all those connections also know us more of our engineering and technology. And therefore, and IT was a question of who started first. And we started 15 years after. And more as a compulsive reason that we had lost more than 10,000 people when I took over as a CEO. And I realized that if you can keep losing, or if you keep losing talent, you are not going to make it to, even in our other core businesses, to be really a strong company. Because finally, the company comes up which has the best of talent. And that is something which I'm very clear and I'm paranoid about. And therefore, to ring fence the company from losing talent, we started L&T Infotech. Mainly not from the point of view of growth perspective, but from the point of view of giving our employee also one more option for them to really go into the business of IT. That worked. With that, we started the engineering relating to electronics, embedded software, and so on. A lot of that we were doing for internal projects. 2003, I saw a wave of outsourcing of engineering. That was, let's say, 10, 15 years after the engineering outsourcing really started, compared to IT. IT started 10, 15 years before. This outsourcing was a way of life. And then I said, we can't be left behind, at least now in engineering, which we are very good at. So we started engineering group within L&T itself. And that was called L&T Engineering Services Group. We grew it to 70 million by 2006, and we had electronic engineering growing in the meantime in Infotech. So in 2012, we thought that it is better now that the ratio of IT to engineering was 2 to 1. One was nearly 900 million, one was nearly 500 million. And therefore, it is no longer like any other company, 8% or 10%. And because we, from the beginning, from 2003, kept engineering separate, we could bring independent focus on it. Company also trusts us because of our corporate governance, commitment, high integrity, trust, and so on. Engineering needs a lot more trust and attaching with the company on a very long-term basis, because finally it is the proprietary knowledge which the company, our customers have. IT is more commercial, you know, in general. It's like not a proprietary technology in the sense that you must preserve it by any means. You can change the partner. You can go from one to another over 3 to 4 months of overlap. You can't do that in engineering. It has a deep knowledge background. Also, L&T had 82 businesses, so it has a lot of connection, as I mentioned earlier, and a lot of engineering knowledge. We have 48,000 engineers already in L&T, apart from this, which only serves outside client. This L&T Technology Service has more than 9,500 engineers and are growing. They do outside work. If you look at plant engineering, we don't do plant engineering in this company for power plant or, for that matter, hydrocarbon. Those kinds of engineering are done with their respective businesses within L&T Group. Okay. Here we do, for example, plant engineering, which we don't do in L&T main group, and that is FMCG, CPG, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, all of that. And that has become 18% of the company, you know. Auto aero is roughly 25% of the company. Industrial product is again around 27, 28, and so on. So I think we have five verticals, which puts us in a very good position. So if one like oil and gas we dropped, sharply, if such a thing was to happen, our other vertical could make up for it. So we continue to grow. In last 3 years, we have grown 16% in dollar terms and 23% in rupee terms. During this time, if you see, the oil price crashed during this price. Had it not happened, we would have been perhaps instead of 16%, 19 to 20%. But we didn't go down badly. So I think all our policies are prudent. We have taken care of the risk mitigation as much as possible. And I think L&T Technology Services is in a very strong wicket, being perhaps India's #1 engineering company.
Mr. Kumar, would you like to add anything to this?
No, I think Mr. Naik covered it very well. The only point that I would add is the client profile of engineering and R&D services is vice presidents of engineering, R&D, manufacturing heads and technology heads. And the work that we do for our clients are basically going as part of the products that our customers are selling. So it is directly in the line of profit and loss centers of our customers. And therefore, the discretionary nature of our business in terms of spend by our clients is far lower. So I just wanted to add that point.
Also, you've spoken about how L&T has a lot of engineering core knowledge. So given the parentage like L&T, what are the advantages that L&T Technology Services has, and how does L&T Technology Services also complement your core businesses? If you could help us understand the synergies there.
When we started in 2003 engineering, we didn't have to start from zero, right? It's very difficult to start from zero. But we picked up about 150 engineers who were already working in L&T in different parts, assembled them together, primarily concentrate on plant engineering, which we knew very well to begin with, and that along with all other industrial product and machinery which L&T makes, and the embedded software which was growing in L&T Infotech, which L&T Technology bought over. So I think it was relatively much stronger presence that we could put in a shortest time, because the L&T being known as a very strong engineering company. So I think that has worked well. As I mentioned, 2014 we decided to take out the L&T engineering from L&T Group and put it in this company, renamed it as L&T Technology Services, and then we bought over the electronics engineering, embedded software engineering from L&T Infotech and formed this company, which has now become 460 million, and now this year it will cross 500 million. Right.
Speaking of the revenues, you've said about how you'll cross around $520 million. Going forward, what are the kind of targets you have set in terms of growth, in terms of revenues, and also in terms of margins? So over the next 4 to 5 years, what are the kind of targets you have in mind?
You see, the industry is about 1 trillion, and out of which about 365 billion is what is addressable. So far, outsourcing is not done more than outsourcing, but getting distance working for engineering is not more than 67 billion. Outsourcing to third party, which is being done in India as well as captive, is roughly 20 billion. Within that, third party like us, maybe 5 to 6 billion. The balance is, captive, because most companies think that is their proprietary knowledge and they don't want to kind of transfer. So building faiths is extraordinarily important. Considering that sometime untoward or rather unimaginable thing does happen like oil and gas, we have made a target up to 21 to be 15%. And we think that we will be able to double the turnover in next 5 years. Our target is to touch 1 billion standalone engineering company. And we think that we'll be able to achieve. Maybe we'll have to have some niche technology companies. We acquired recently 2 in last 2-3 years. but we may have to acquire more. And we think that 150 to 200 million we can always acquire. So on the whole, I think the company is on very strong wicket.
All right, so that was the management of L&T, and obviously L&T Tech, the latest IPO on block, in a price band of 850 to 860 per share. At the upper end of the price band, the implied market cap at 860 will be around 8,700 crores, and the parent is divesting around 10.2% stake. We'll keep getting you details of the book as it plays out, the subscription book, but those are the details about L&T Tech. Let's move on to earnings now.